Medicines, contraband items and dagga worth a street value of over 12,000 rand have been confiscated during a raid at a correctional service centre a correctional centre at Empangeni in KwaZulu-Natal. The National Commissioner of Correctional Services, Makgothi Samuel Thobakgale, was part of the raid. Now, the correctional facility has in recent years had several prison breaks. Recently, the correctional facility has seen 4 inmates escaping, with 3 of them still at large. Jayed Paulse is actually there at the moment, so let's cross over to her to find out the latest developments. Early morning raid there, Jay. Talk to us a little bit more about it. We've talked about some of the things that were confiscated. Perhaps you can elaborate more for us.
Well, a very good morning to you, Leanne, and we are coming to you from Qalakabusha, a correctional facility in Empangeni. We've been up throughout the most of the night with the EST guys and the correctional facility unit who have been conducting a raid. We'll be coming to you now. We're coming from the maximum security. There are 2 sections here. About 269 inmates have been called out of their cells, and a raid was conducted. Like you said in your intro, there were several contraband items. Dagga was also found. But what was very concerning is that there were also sharpened objects that were found. There were no weapons that were found, such as guns, but there is a growing concern about the number of cell phones that have been found, Leanne. And I know many people may look past that and see that as just a minor offense, but with regards to cases that many of these inmates are still dealing with, second victimization with the victims is paramount. So the wardens are trying to make sure that they try and contain the situation here at this point. This facility has, over the years and just in July, also seen several inmates breaking out. Like you said, there are still 3 inmates at large, and they are trying to put everything into place and make this a safer environment for the inmates that are here, but also try and combat those contraband and those items that are coming into the facility. Now, I am joined by the National Acting Commissioner for Correctional Facilities, that is Samuel Thobakgale. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Thobakgale. You've been with us throughout the night. Are you happy with what is happening here at this correctional facility?
Not at all. The reason why we decided to embark on a surprise search is because our information, as we gather, gave us pointers that the situation in Qalakabusha is really getting out of control. But you should also realize that this is the situation in most of our centers, most of our facilities. So we have taken a decision to run a campaign that we call contraband-free correctional facilities. What it means is that apart from engaging in other strategies, we actually come in physically, unannounced, do the searches. What we find which is not allowed to be in our centers, like your cell phones, like dagga, like sharpened objects, we make it a point that we charge those offenders. But apart from that, we make it a point that management in those centers are held accountable, because there are basics that are informed by our standard operating procedures that should be put in place. For instance, we're supposed to have a search register, which means searches should be done periodically. We're also supposed to have an inspection register for each and every cell, which means on a daily basis, we're supposed to get into a cell and inspect it. And that's how these things can be found, and we make it a point that they don't make it inside our facilities. So we are not happy. Certainly we are going to take action, but we're also sending a message out there to the public that if you have an offender who's your relative, and that offender is contacting you using a cell phone inside a correctional facility, know that that offender is actually breaking the rules. That offender is not focusing on the correctional and rehabilitation programs that we are offering in here. There's no offender who has a business to do in a correctional facility, let alone sell illegal substances or consume illegal substances in correctional facilities. One of the things that we're going to do and we've already done that. Our colleagues from SABC are coming because we also need to analyze the information that we are sitting with. We need to analyze what we found here and start deepening the collaboration that we have with the JCPS cluster in terms of how do we then move forward. But this is not an isolated event. This is a campaign that we are going to mount and intensify. We will continue to disrupt until our correctional facilities are free from these substances that are not supposed to be in our correctional facilities.
Commissioner, last question. There is a growing concern, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. We've seen several inmates escaping, not only in this prison, but also in prisons in Durban. With regards to the wardens, we just saw now there is a business taking place here. Dagga is being sold. Obviously, that is coming from outside, and that is also a growing concern with regards to the cooperation with wardens and inmates.
Well, there are instances where we find that. As I've indicated, what we do, we institute disciplinary processes against our own members that we find through the investigations that they are involved in such. We take appropriate action, of course, informed by the legislation. The collaboration is seriously worrying, and that's why what we do also, in terms of the new intake, the new members that come into the system, we make it our point that our training is intensified in such a manner that you will not have offenders being able to penetrate the system and getting our own members to collaborate with them. But I've also indicated that we are working closely with the JCPS cluster partners, notably SABC, to make it a point that what we find happening inside the center, we can analyze it also looking at what is happening externally, and we integrate our approaches to stop this.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Thobakgale. Well, that was Mr. Samuel Thobakgale, the National Acting Commissioner of Correctional Facilities here, and he was with us throughout the night doing that oversight visit at this correctional facility where several contraband items were found, as well as sharp objects, and also saying there that they are going to be investigating wardens that are assisting and aiding or abetting inmates at correctional facilities throughout KwaZulu-Natal. It's back to you in Studio, Leanne.